What's up, guys? This is Jakob. I'm host of the Content AI show. I'm content AI manager and helping entrepreneurs with their content strategy using AI tools for content creation. And I'm excited about this new episode together with James Fitzgerald. He is part of the international business development team for Friday AI, which is a tool that we are going to speak about. It is a content generation startup where James actually is working. And I'm really excited to speak about and also give a short impression about Friday AI. What is this tool and what can this tool do for you, for all the entrepreneurs out there? So thank you for being in my show, James. I'm excited to speak with you today. How are you?
Thanks, Mike. To the whole content AI team for us. We're really excited. This is sort of a public showing of our product. It's just a few months old, and really for you and the team for bringing us on and letting us talk about it a little bit. Great here. Thanks a lot.
Okay, cool. I always love passionate people who are excited about their own product and also just curious. So first, before we speak about Friday, can you introduce yourself? So who's James and why are you doing the things that you're doing?
Yeah, my name is James. I'm originally from New York, and I have been living in China in many different cities for close to 10 years now. Working in the industry for a long time, 4 or 5 years. I've been getting more in the tech industry. Out in cloud for 3 years, working on educating people on cloud, general sort of topic, mostly educating people on how to use Alibaba Cloud. And I took a break before joining the Friday AI team. I'm excited to be working with Friday AI because it is more specifically machine learning, which personally I'm very interested in. So I'm really lucky that they were looking for a role for me, and my role with them is to be pushing the out to what market. I'm sort of part of a 3 or 4 man marketing team right now. We're very but as soon as I saw our product, and what of our CEO, really excited and the team. It's just a lot of fun coming down to this. It's interesting because we're in the valley, Hangzhou, where I came from, the whole Chinese internet. And a lot of the people here are that era that are working with for a long time, but now we're really branching into future technology and forefront of AI is really the most forefront of right now. So it's just really exciting, and I'm really happy to be talking about it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for this recap and introducing yourself in a nutshell. Awesome. So I'm always thrilled to speak with experts around the world about this topic of AI because I have always this feeling that we are a small community who is supporting each other and helping each other. And therefore, I also created this show where I want to speak more with like-minded people within the AI space. And yeah, that's just awesome. So you already spoke about Friday. Maybe can you, before we go into Friday, into not the day but the tool, but what was one of the first memories that you had when it comes to AI? Was it a movie? Was it a book? What was it for you?
I like this question. I think my first sort of contact with AI was probably through video games. I played a lot of role playing games as a kid, Japanese role playing games and like the Elder Scrolls series. And the non-player characters in the game would have different reactions based on what sort of input you give them. So that sort of felt like, at least at that time, we're talking 20 years ago. This is sort of like even pre-internet video gaming. Even at that time, I felt like I was talking to not just sort of a binary computer. I felt I was talking to something more living. This was sort of a slight introduction to what was going to be something much larger and much more intelligent. And as I grew up a little bit more and really fell into love with popular music, I relied on a lot of AI sort of searching song recommendation stuff early on. Even Napster had a song recommendation tool, and I was amazed on how the AI could read different styles and different genres of songs and be able to relate them to each other. This was very exciting to me. So this is, like I said, 15, 20 years ago. Now it's still obviously much more developed than it was then, but still
Yeah.
very, very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there I mean, I love the examples. Was there a defining moment where you thought yourself, okay, I have to spend not only my private but also my professional time with AI or AI tools? Was there one moment?
I mean, I think I was working in the internet industry for a while, and I
Yeah.
really started to see the capabilities of what these tools could do. First, in my professional life, I was very busy trying to keep communities active and tried to keep the conversation with many different users going at the same time. And it just became too much for a one-man team to handle. And I really started to see the benefits of AI helping me plan, create strategies, create content, help me find, not only text but images, all this stuff. It just became a sort of necessity in my professional life. And then, my personal life too. Like I said, looking for music or just making daily tasks more easy, and not having to fill my brain with things that I don't want to fill my brain with, and letting a robot either remember them for me or even do them for me completely, just became too convenient, and to ignore. So I would say there maybe wasn't a specific moment. I just sort of grew into it where I said, okay, this is too easy. This is something I need, a tool I need to continue going. Just sort of reminds me of, if a farmer had a new tool to pull the crops off and he could finish the crops in half the time, of course he's going to fade out the old tools and start using that tool. So it sort of felt like that for me.
Yeah. Okay. I absolutely love it because one important thing that I always get. So this is already the topic of misconceptions. So why people are not using, why they are afraid, because they have always this feeling that AI will replace us. But in your
Right.
story, this is what I heard is that it's not like that. It's helping you. It's supporting you. It's
Right.
reminding you on tasks that you would otherwise forget. So it's enriching your life. That's the important thing that I want to always stress and always say to people, that it will help you to be more efficient, be more productive, so that you have time for the really important tasks, the really important things that you have to do. Okay, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing this.
Yeah, that's completely right. When you look back on the evolution of technology, since forever, you can see jobs being, replaced or faded out by technology. This is not something that's new. But what it did require at every juncture, when a major technology came along, was for humans to reinvent their work style and what they did. And yes, every time it is a little bit scary, and it is demanding on those groups of people, to force the creativity out of them. But in the end of the day, it it it's good for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, let's speak a little bit about Friday. So, can you tell us the story? I mean, how were you involved in Friday, and why? I mean, why this kind of tool? I mean, there are many possibilities to use AI. Why a content generation AI tool? So, what was the reason for this one?
Yeah. So the team that I'm working with, they've actually been working with AI sort of chatbots for a long time. Our CEO was working at Carnegie Mellon doing his PhD there, and we have a lot of PhD students, both here in China and in America, working on their doctorate on this stuff. So for them, it's part of their research. It was a big part of what they wanted to do with AI. And for that's sort of the technical side, but the practical side or the marketing side, which is what I'm more on, is the deliverability of this sort of technology to an everyday user. What I think is so amazing about this time, I mean, not so amazing in a positive way, but certainly amazing for what we're trying to do here, is that this whole work from home and remote working sort of revolution has caused a lot of people, to be at home working on their computers. What that also has caused is for a lot of people who are not natural content generators themselves, or they're not very good at it, have to make content. And that could be writing formal emails, that could be running a social media account, that could be looking for business partners. It's the broad scope of anything that is language. When you see this work from home, remote working thing going on, you realize that a lot more people are now having to write and write online. So I see a tool like this kind of coming along right at a perfect time, when a lot of people who are otherwise either not skilled at writing or struggle to come up with their own creative ideas and style for writing could really use this tool to boost their ideas. I don't believe that the product is mature enough right now to replace all of your writing, but I do believe it's mature enough right now to give you a direction to push whatever you were trying to do, and give you some ideas. And that could be the most important part of the whole content generation experience is, how do you write the first sentence and where does it go from there? So I see just a sort of a lot of factors coming into the timing of this. Not only is the work from home revolution happening, but the technology is finally getting to a place, especially with the amazing leaps and bounds GTP3 had over GTP2. Just the amazing jump it made in ability. All those things are sort of clicking at the right time, where I see a content generation bot really hitting the mainstream in a smooth way.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So I think we live in great times for content creators. I mean, it's gonna just way better. So since I'm in business since almost 2 years, and I see a demand that is increasing. So more and more people are going online. They need content because, I mean, you can create your group or your LinkedIn group or whatever it is instantly in a second. It's no big deal to create it, but to fill it and to bring people and to generate traffic, that's the main thing to work on, and that's the hard part. And tools like Friday help you to create content on scale. These are, I mean, I'm a content manager, and since 6 months or something, I say I'm a content AI manager, because I said, okay, I'm using these tools and I want to make this transparent, because otherwise it would be not honest, in my opinion. So I'm using these tools to be more productive. That's mainly what I'm also doing. Yeah. And I think more and more people are going to use tools like yours. And I think that's a great thing. Yeah.
Cool. And we hope that people aren't ashamed to use the tools. I think we should be happy to have something create content that we agree with, and be able to copy and paste it, and be able to do that 4 or 5 times a day, with the same amount of time that would have taken you one time, enough energy for one post. I think we should be happy that those things are happening, and not saying, I'm not creative enough, or I'm too lazy, so I'm using this bot. No, you're being more efficient and you're being more productive, and everyone should agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to figure out what are you going to publish about, what are the topics that you want to cover, and you also need to manage all these things. I mean, just creating the content doesn't mean that you distribute it. I mean, it will be on the GPT-3 layout, and then nothing happens. So you need somebody who takes them and also publishes it on the site, on the blog, or where you want to distribute it. So you still
that's
need
right.
somebody who manages all these assets. That's the important thing. But maybe
Yeah, that's
this
right.
is a good point because you said ashamed. Maybe we speak a little bit about the misconceptions that are within the space. We covered it a little bit. What do you think are misconceptions about AI that you would love to tackle? So one or two big ones. So one that we mentioned already is so AI is going to replace us, which is not really true. But do you have other misconceptions that you read or hear oftentimes about AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of the exaggerated one, but one I see a lot still, that is clearly a misconception, is what I call the Terminator situation,
Yeah,
where the computers somehow become smarter than their masters,
yeah,
revolt and destroy us all. Um, but that is, I mean, it's a science fiction story that people have really started to buy into, as
hmm,
they see AI developing so much. But what people forget about is that, how much AI is already involved in their lives already, and in a really non-intrusive way. Maybe even to the point where they don't even know that there is a machine learning bot or some artificial intelligence behind some tasks that they do. Some people might forget that they don't set their alarm in the morning anymore, and their phone just knows when they wake up and knows when it's Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and not set the alarm then. Or your phone sends you a message about real-time traffic, or your computer is managing and giving you output of data that you wouldn't otherwise know how to read, and it's giving you some insights on some data that you don't know how to read because you never studied data science.
yes,
And so these tools are being used already, in a very beneficial and not in a very in your face, oh no, this computer is running my life sort of way. And I think as the development of AI continues, from the user experience perspective, you don't want the AI to become more intrusive. You don't want it to feel like you're losing human connection or you're losing your own decision making. You sort of
yeah,
want that computer to be doing the work for you in the background, and I think the good developers know that about the AI that they're creating, and will make sure that that is not part of that experience. So I don't think that Terminator situation is sort of a realistic thought.
yeah. So very good point. So one of my favorite examples is Mailchimp. So Mailchimp as a newsletter provider, so an email marketing system, and
Mm-hmm.
many people don't know they are also using AI. So for example, if you can figure out the best time for sending your email campaign,
Right,
and this is
right, right,
based
right.
this is based on machine learning. So Mailchimp is checking all the sent campaigns and then figuring out when was the best timing for best opening rate timing. So
Right,
was it at
right.
3 p.m. or 7 p.m.? And so Mailchimp is giving you suggestions, and I think it's a very very good point that you mentioned, that good developers are aware of this. Yeah, people want this connection, and they just make you have to make sure that it feels human, and this is going to be a good point, a good thing in the coming years. I think that it doesn't look like AI, but it is in the background. Yeah, and it is enriching our lives. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
good point. So
Mm.
this was one misconception that you mentioned. Can you maybe describe how Friday is going to evolve over the coming months or years? What are your plans for Friday?
Yeah. So we sort of have a couple tiered goals. Our first goal is to be sort of competing with the other top content generation products, Jarvis. Uh, um,
They changed the name. It's not anymore
oh yeah,
Jarvis, by the way,
oh,
because of the
it's
model
something.
thing.
It's something with a J. It's
Yeah,
still J something.
Yes, but not JAWS because of the Marvel figure,
Java.
and they, yeah.
Right. Content bot, copy AI. These competitors I am still using. I sort of keep my eye on them, but we want to be sort of in the ranks with them. That is the first step, and that is to say we create, from the development side, we create a product that a consumer would be indifferent to using Friday or content bot or OpenAI. They say, okay, or copy AI. Maybe one has a little bit better price. Maybe one has a better deal. I'm going to choose that one. But from a development standpoint, we hope to be on the same level as them. And I'm really happy to say that when I use our competitors and I use Friday, I say we're not so far behind, if not already up with them. And now it's really just up to our ability to market and put it out there for people to know. What we're really excited about, though, is sort of jumping into the Web3 space, right? Mm-hmm. We want to create not just a service. We don't want just you pay the money, then you get to use it for a month, and then it's done. No, what we really want to create is a collaborative environment. So when you come and you create content with Friday, we are using the information you're getting to feed back into the machine to learn whether it was producing good content, relevant content, useful content, and with a good feedback system where after every content is created, the user is able to give feedback on that content, maybe just in a spectrum rating in a 1 to 10, or maybe a written response, whatever sort of like easier for them and less painful for them. And then we're able to reward users for giving us their collaborative time. Maybe that means creating our own coin or connecting with a pre-existing coin, but it certainly means connecting a wallet to the Friday server and making that community strong. Just like we're sort of, I don't know if this term exists, but we were just sort of talking about in the office. I'm sure you know the play to earn model, where you play these online games, and you can sell your skins, or you can get directly rewarded coins for playing the game. Well, we're sort of thinking of a right to earn model, right? So the more you write, the more content you create, the more feedback you provide, you can actually earn something tangible in the Web3 space. And that will also help us connect sort of the blockchain and the crypto world, hopefully the art world, maybe the NFT world. Hopefully we can get maybe image creation involved. There's a lot of different directions to go. But I think our core development strategy is to listen to the people that are using Friday and really take their feedback seriously into the development track. Because as you know, with this stuff, you can go a million different directions. And it's sort of up to you as an individual or maybe your team just kind of choosing a direction. It can almost seem random, or, oh, maybe this could be good, or someone could use it in this way. But you never really know what is the most practical and most useful until you hear from people from the industry about what they actually need. So we really want to get that collaborative community aspect going and make people feel like, hey, I used Friday and I contributed to it. I made it better, and I actually saw some profits off of it. Mm-hmm. I think a very simple example would be, I know you've tested Friday already. There's a template. We only have a few templates right now. We could imagine that those templates could also be created by users, have a ranking system so that the most used or the most liked templates show up higher on the list. And then those users who make very popular templates get rewards in some way or another. That's the sort of collaboration ideas that we have.
Is there also, this is a follow-up question, is there also a voting system where users can vote about future decisions within Friday, or is this too much Web3?
Yeah. So that's sort of right. So that's sort of the next. That's part of that next goal, right? So after we're very comfortable with Friday being a content generation bot and having a very friendly user experience, um, that would be voting would definitely be part of that Web3 development. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, and then that's that community interaction that we think is really going to grow the product, because right now there's a lot of people that offer very good content generation machines at a very competitive prices. It's not fair to think that if we can make a better one, therefore people will choose us. We need to think about the next step, the next
Yeah.
level of that. And
Yeah.
I think that is where it's at.
Yeah. So my thesis is that, I mean, GPT-3 is already at a very high level, and I mean, I can say I want to use GPT-3. I create an overlay or some usability, and then
Yeah.
apply for OpenAI and create my own software and call it, yeah, I don't know, Jakob AI, for example.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think where the real magic is going to happen is, what are companies adding on top of GPT-3? So, for example, I
Right.
had a conversation with CMO of Neuroflash. This is a company also based in Germany, and what they do is they give, so you can create the content on GPT-3 technology, and based on top, you can check how are the words that we created are connected by users. So how are they feeling when they are reading this? So based on data material that they use, you can identify, okay, are they happy when they read it? Are they sad, or is it neutral? And you can change the wording of the posting. So this is one example how companies are using GPT-3 and adding some features on top, which must be checked by OpenAI, and then they have to approve it and then give feedback, and then they can roll out on the market. So my thesis is that GPT-3 will soon become more or less standard, but the thing where companies separate themselves is what are the features that they are delivering on top, and this is where you can create your USP, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
an idea.
Yeah. No, that's very cool.
Okay, cool. Can we maybe so yeah, one question was, why Friday? So is the meaning of the day, or do we? I just thought on Friday afternoon I have the time to create content, and then I use Friday the tool, or what was the idea behind the name?
Yeah, I think we wanted to pick something that wasn't necessarily like an industry word. We didn't want to pick a
Okay.
buzzword or something sort of catchy like that. We wanted to pick just a word that people have good association with. Who
Okay,
doesn't like
Friday is a
Friday,
good one.
right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just you hear Friday and you feel good, right?
Smile. Yeah,
Um,
you smile.
yeah,
Yeah, like we
yeah.
smile.
Yeah, so just
Okay.
something simple. And actually, when I joined the company, they said, hey, we were thinking about changing the name. We kind of came up with a couple different names. We had one called I think our favorite one we came up with was Zen Pen, because it had sort of a Chinese flavor to it. Sort of calm. Pen has to do with writing. But we sort of felt like it's kind of too complicated. It's kind of too loaded. Trying to have way more meaning than we really need. Let's do something simple and memorable. Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm always interested in this branding thing. So how to come up with an idea? It must be catchy and easy, and yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So can you describe your team? So how many people are you? So where are you located in? Is it a remote team? Is it an international team? So what kind of people do you have?
Yeah. So we're based in China and the U.S. We have most of our team is in China, but we do have a few players in the U.S. So we have mostly, I would say, we're 90 to 95% development team right now. And they are just working on one, the engine itself, and two, the user experience of our website. We're working really fast to improve everything. I'm really happy with how fast the dev team is working. It's so awesome to have like a huge dev team behind you, because you give me feedback, and in the next 2 or 3 hours, that thing has changed already. So that is where
I will check it. I will check it.
Go,
The feedback,
go check
the
it.
feedback
Go
that
check
I
it.
gave.
You'll see.
Yeah.
We've already updated it since you've been on last time. We already have
Okay,
a
that's
new
good.
interface. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Our dashboard is cleaned up a little bit. It's not all the way there yet, but step by step. We're going step by step.
Good.
So that's really exciting. It's also really exciting that we're not just a team of people marketing a product that doesn't exist, that we're actually a team of people that are working on the product with just, like I said, 3 or 4 of us focused on the community building side. And what's really cool is that we have a team of PhD students both in China and in the U.S. that are working on machine learning algorithms, specifically content generation, as part of their doctorate research. So part of their research, for example, is to figure out how to remove bias and prejudice from the results of a generation, right? To be able to be like more inclusive and not targeting anyone that might be writing this. And you can imagine like what a difficult task that is, because all human writing has bias, right? Well, whatever you write is coming from you, and you have a set of biases that are almost impossible to get rid of when you're writing. And you don't even know about them, but they just come out when you're writing. So how can we build an engine that is better than that, right? And so you have to sort of rethink what it means to communicate without bias. So anyway, this is just one of the examples of the problems they're tackling right now. And so these guys are still in their PhD. They haven't graduated yet. And what they're doing right now is helping us build this as part of their research, and most likely just sort of when they graduate, join us. And so that's a really cool part, is that as we all know, this is a very blossoming industry. So you have people that are not old hands at this, because that doesn't exist. You have students who are currently studying artificial intelligence behavior that are helping us build this thing. And as we go on, we look to expand internationally. I will probably be going back to the U.S. to help develop over there, and build some more teams in the West. But yeah, that's sort of our team right now. Of all the people I mentioned is probably 70 people total.
70.
70, yeah, 70.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's already a lot. That's wow.
Yeah. But that includes all the students who aren't working on it full time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's sort of I would say full time dedicated. What we have in the office right now looks to be around 30.
40. Okay. Yeah, but mainly developers, right?
Like I said, there's it seems like there's 5 or 6 of us that are working on not development stuff.
Yeah. And what is exactly your role within Friday?
Yeah, so I'm the international guy, right? So I'm the only international person working in this company. Thankfully, I've been in China long enough where I can speak enough Chinese to get along with the crew here. But my main job is to get people using this. As you can see, it's an English content producer, so selling it in China is not really feasible. So my role is to build the community, be a tester of the product, so that I can provide good feedback to what the Western market wants out of a product like this. And on the lower level, find just regular users online that want to use this, and then at a higher level, find organizations that would be interested in adopting this as part of what they do. Two places come to mind right now that I've already been talking to in the U.S. Somewhere like a hospital could use something like this to produce patient reports. And we, because our dev team is so big, we're able to create a custom solution for a certain organization. And that custom solution would be, very much more precise into producing whatever they would need. So, hospitals have to produce patient reports every day. Doctors probably need to write reports. There's a lot of content that needs to come out of a hospital every day. If they can produce that content just from a few keywords, or even just clicking some buttons and be able to write a report that they then edit instead of write from scratch, that could save a lot of time for them. So that's sort of one of the first places that I was looking at in the U.S. just because I have contacts there. But that's basically my role, right? I'm seeing what we have here. I'm seeing the almost infinite possibilities of where this could go, and trying to find the people that are the most interested and find it the most useful, and try to deliver it to them in an easy way where there's not a lot of learning to do. There's not a lot of struggle or how to use this, or I need to go practice, that they can just jump in there and it can start helping them, the first time that they jump in there. Yeah, that's my role.
Yeah, sounds cool. Also, this niching down to one target group is also an interesting idea. But currently, you have all different kind of target audiences, right? So, self-employed entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, also
Totally.
small and medium enterprises.
Totally. And
Okay.
this is it's sort of just a trial and error process at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like let me go and contact all of these groups individually, see who bites, who's interested in this, who finds it the most useful right now. And that's hard for me to tell. I need to hear it from them. And then
Yeah.
slowly cut out the people that I don't think, okay, this isn't right for them, or it's not mature enough for them yet. And then look for more of the people that do want it, and slowly sort of categorize it, over time like that, much like a machine would learn how to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I got it. So, oops, that was a little bit too early. That's coming in a second. We wanted to show a quick demo. Sorry for that one. So before we jump into it, I have two more questions. So one is about the vision, so, about trends within the AI space. So what trends do you see that are coming this year, next year, in a couple of years? So GPT-4 is one topic, which is another live session in my opinion. But anyway, so what trends do you see within the AI space or content AI space when we niche it down?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I see AI sort of two categories right now. We sort of have the science fiction way in the future trends, which we are slowly building, that are getting more closer, like self-driving cars and automated maids in your house cleaning up. We already have beta testing self-driving cars, and we already have little robots that go around and clean your floor, right? These are sort of the far off, the ones you see in Hollywood AI. And those trends are still sort of there, but they're the back burner ones, building slowly. But the more practical ones, sort of like personal assistants, Siri on an iPhone, data organizers, and data analytics AI, which we use. We use Quick BI. That is the really big trend, because those are helping, I think, people in the professional world be more efficient today, and not sort of experimenting with. A really big one for us, because we hear this from our students a lot, is the AI for science trend. So not only for natural scientists to improve their lab efficiency, but computer scientists are now using a lot of AI to write code for their own project. So it's code writing code, and they're able to write code that can check itself and find its own bugs, and sort of run without a lot of input until it finds a snag, where then the human interaction comes in, needs to sort of fix it, and then the computer can continue writing code for this project, and therefore building sort of in an exponential way, be able to build a bigger project without having to hand write a bunch of code, or even going to GitHub and copying and pasting code. That can cause a lot of messes when you're copying and pasting code from different places, with people, coders having different logic behind what they do. Sometimes it's very hard to match up. And if you're not doing that, then you're writing everything from scratch. So to have AI writing code for computer scientists, it's an amazing trend that I recently just found out about. I didn't know how much that was being used. I had some idea, but I didn't realize how much computer scientists are using AI to do their work for them. One of them compared it to being electricity. When electricity comes along, how much more can happen in the science lab with the introduction of power to everything that could happen before. That's what he compared the addition of AI to the computer scientist lab. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And just the smart assistant, I find is the trend that is in the most mainstream, that people I think just on every level use. You see Alexa in the home, you see Siri on the iPhone, but that is the one that's exciting for people, because it's really taking away those mundane day-to-day tasks. It's helping people not having to remember everything all the time. And I see that one as being the breakthrough product, or the breakthrough sort of machine that really welcomes people to using AI, getting them excited. Okay, wait, this thing is actually really improving my life. It's not as scary as it looked in Terminator. And this is something that I want to support, get involved in, that sort of thing. So yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. I think the thing with the code, AI for coding, is an interesting thing I so far not thought about, but it makes sense, because that's the time-consuming part of coding, that you have to make the tries and errors and test everything, and that's the time-consuming part. And why not? It's like in my job, the blog creation. In my old days, I worked as a digital editor. I researched, I read, and then I typed and wrote the article, which was the easy part. The researching part was the time-consuming, and AI helps me with that part. So it makes sense also for me when coders use AI. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So my last question. So who can you recommend for this live show? So who's maybe also in the same niche like you in the content AI space, is an expert at all about AI? Can you recommend somebody?
Yeah, I'm interested, in the people that I sort of used to work with over here. Like I said, Hangzhou is the Silicon Valley of China. So there's a lot of companies in this area that are working on these. Obviously, like Ali Cloud and NetEase Cloud being sort of the biggest ones that would be working in the AI and machine learning sector. And I don't know how big companies feel. They have like serious PR guidelines, but there's a lot of other little ones around here that I think I could find for you. I think you'll find that the Chinese tech scene does things in a little bit different way, and it's not better or worse. It's just done in a different way that I've seen in the U.S.
For example,
and I think there's a lot of time spent on really breaking down code, and not spending like I see a lot of like marketing and user interface attention being put into Western tech companies, where the user experience, as in it's being comfortable for the user to use, is sometimes more important than the practicality or the actual usefulness of the product. But in China, when everyone is doing, everyone has a startup that is sort of maybe building a similar thing. It really comes down at the end of the day to which product is the best, and whatever product is the best. Like maybe I have a little bit of a learning curve on how to use it, but it's totally worth it because it is outshining the competitors. So overall, I'm putting more of my resources towards development and less resources towards like branding or spending money making fancy videos for sharing, things like that. So in that way, it's sort of a very raw scene, very development focused scene. And I don't know if you ever go on Taobao or any of these websites like this, any of these Chinese e-commerce websites, anything, you can see just in the design difference, what is important to these websites. It's about delivering the most content. It's delivering the most options, the widest range of user experience, without, and not like narrowing it down. So I don't know. I find it interesting, different, obviously, but it's certainly something that I think you might be more interested in diving into in your show, and I can make that connection for you.
Yeah, would love to. Really appreciate it. So one thing was, I thought Shenzhen is the Silicon Valley of China. That was my thought always.
Yeah, I think
that's a competition.
Yeah, I mean, Shenzhen didn't exist when Alibaba started doing stuff in Hangzhou. I mean, we're talking 1998, I guess, is when 1997, 98 is when Alibaba really started going. At that time, Shenzhen was still a fishing village, So I would say this is sort of the old school tech valley, But much like the U.S. now, right? There's the Silicon Valley in California, but then like there's this huge tech scene in Texas now. And so maybe it's sort of like that, where there's new tech scene, which is like Texas, maybe Shenzhen, and then there's the old tech scene, and it's hard to imagine. But hey, man, it's been a few years now since this internet era has begun. There is an old crowd now, there is an old crowd and there is a new crowd. So you're right, Shenzhen is a huge. I would say it's a huge hardware capital.
Okay.
And I would say more of the software side of things is done in Hangzhou, but there's plenty of software in Shenzhen too. They're both very, very strong marketplaces. Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's everything fine. Okay, just wanted to follow up. Just I'm just curious and want to know your opinion. Okay, cool.
Sure.
So really thank you for your time. It was awesome to speak with you. We are going to show this clip that you created. I just have to figure out how I do this. Just a second. And then we can start.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's Hey Friday demo. Today I'm just going to be showing you some of the basic features of our dashboard. So here we are in our dashboard after we've logged in and we click start writing. You can see a couple choices here on the left. First is our language. We just have English right now. You can pick a tone, convincing, assertive, formal, or funny, depending on the type of mood that you want to be writing in. Okay, and we'll look at more of those in a second.
So that's the best version.
Different templates to choose from.
That's cool.
The top two templates are for ad copy. We have a Google, a Facebook, and a LinkedIn choice. The third and the fourth ones are for blog writings, and the last one is a magic command. Okay, so we're gonna look at the blog section writing here today, and we're just gonna pick a few words here. For example, let's go with snow, since it's snowing today. It's Friday, and we're happy. And then we're going to pick a keyword. I want this to be sort of a winter sentiment writing. So I'm going to pick winter as my keyword. And here we go in creating our first content. This is in the convincing tone. So you can see it says stay warm everyone at the end. And it sort of is giving suggestions about what to do with snow on a Friday. Let's try the funny tone. Let's see what comes out when we do funny. Okay, so here we have snow in all caps. Make a snowman, go sledding. It's sort of more fun, more lighthearted, more casual. This would be good for a Facebook post, something like this. And then we have formal. Let's say you were writing your boss or you wanted to write something a little bit more formal for an essay. You can see here that they use bigger words such as eternity and hibernating and a little bit more descriptive words, cold, dark days, things like that. So depending on where you're putting your content, you want to select your tone that is the most appropriate for that. And definitely try out the different tones to see which one you think is most appropriate for you. Okay, that's our demo for today. Thanks for joining.
Awesome. Thanks for the demo.
Cool. Thanks. I'll make a note that I had the music so loud on that demo because I made that music myself, and I was very proud of it. So I turned it up. And that's why you couldn't hear me, because I wanted to show.
You're also you're a musician, so you're producing music yourself.
Kind of. I mean, I just have a little keyboard with a couple pads on it. I got some software, and when I have some time, I throw the beats down.
Nice. So that was the reason.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Because just for creating context, I got two demos from James, and one was I couldn't hear him because the music was so loud, and I said, "What's going on here, man? We have to change this. People don't understand what you're saying." And okay, that was the reason. So
I was just excited about it. I was just excited about it.
You were just in love with your own music. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, can they hear it? Can they hear it?
Yeah.
Turn it up.
Yeah. No, but just curious. So I had one artist. So I mean, this is music, but I see it also as a painting because I painted this myself. I have one.
Nice.
I had one conversation with an artist who uses AI art, so software to produce art. Yeah, that's also a big thing, I think. So not only NFTs, but also creating like big paintings and things like that. And it looks like in a Renaissance and things like that. You can use these tools, and really interesting. But I'm very sure there's something also for music. So let's just say exciting music or something, and then.
Yeah. I haven't seen the AI creating music yet. But maybe it exists, and these producers are not telling us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Awesome. So James, when people want to get in touch with you, how should they contact you? So what's the best way?
Sure. Yeah. Now Friday at heyfriday.ai is an open email. They can email me there. They can also follow any of our social media accounts. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Discord now. So they can reach out to me there, or send me an email directly. We actually did set up a promo code for any viewers here if they want to use Friday for 3 months for free. In the coupon area of the pricing, they put in "I love Friday" as the coupon code, and that will give them that will charge 3 months to their account when they check out. So
I love Friday.
I love Friday. Genius. Easy, right? Easy, right?
That's easy. That's
yeah.
Good.
I love Friday.
Good point.
Yeah. You can't disagree with it.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, really, thank you for your time. Was really cool to speak with you and get behind the scenes of Friday. And have a wonderful day. And if anybody is interested, just let us know in the comment section. And maybe I will also type the coupon code. I mean,
I'll send you that info.
That would be awesome. Okay, cool. See you next time. Thank you, and
all right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.